All right, are you guys ready for Paul? Paul!
I swear I did not hear the fish say a word. My buddy Truett is sitting at the table and he's talking about this fish at the next table, and the fish is talking to him, and I'm like, Bruce, come on. He's saying, what, the fish? It's going, eat me, eat me. And I realized he's pulling my leg, but the fish was pretty amazing. The table next to us, the waiter, we were in this little cafe down in Puerto Escondido. This is like ages ago. The fish was, it was amazing. It was covered in garlic, it was steaming, it's on this little cast iron plate, there's all this food. And the waiter, it's pescado al dia, it's the fish of the day, you gotta have the fish of the day. And I'm like, okay, wait a second. I had camarones al dia like 2 years ago in Las Mochis, and those guys almost killed me. Hepatitis, the worst case, went back to Illinois. My doctor, Dr. England, had no clue what I had, sinus infection, gives me a bunch of antibiotics, basically shuts my liver down. And it's like, okay, wait, Bruce, Sally was with us, don't have the fish. You don't know where that fish came from. Now, I'll give you a little bit of a lesson on Mexico in the 80s. Their sewer systems generally were not as efficient as they are today, and so things that were caught in the bay where you were sitting might have been caught close to where sewage was dumping in, which was the case in Las Mochis. So I was really leery about this fish, and I said, look, guys, if you're gonna have the fish, have the fillet. No, they were hooked. They wanted the fish. Fish gets served, and I have to tell you, it was a great looking fish, except for the fact that it still had its head on and its eyes kind of staring at you and whatnot. And they ate it. I had the fillet, and as you probably surmise, somebody got sick from eating bad fish at this restaurant. Didn't happen immediately. Went out on the town, having a great time. But when that muscle in your body, the sphincter, says it's time for you to pay attention to me, that we should really be on our way, it's like, you better pay attention. And zip zap, we were back to the hotel, and the hotel was fine. Everything in it was made out of concrete. The bed was made out of concrete, not the mattress, but like the bed was concrete, the doors weren't concrete, they had wooden doors, the small toilet, and then there's a tub shower thing made out of concrete. But there's not a lot of room for maneuvering. And for the next 3 to 4 hours, it was sort of this weird ballet of Bruce Truett and Sally Warnhoff kind of going back and forth to the toilet. At some point in time, they decided, screw it, we're not even gonna mess with the door. I laid there wondering, was the fillet a good idea? Am I going to succumb at some point in the future? To make matters more interesting, the power went out. There was this big storm that came through. And so they did this sort of ballet, I don't know, ballet is not really a good word for it, but they did this back and forth to the bathroom by candlelight. And thankfully, in the morning, Sally was in the bed, Bruce was in the tub, and the bathroom didn't really look that bad, and I had not gotten sick. We concluded that we needed to get out of Puerto and get back to Oaxaca, which is where we had started our trip, because they had better power and they actually had medical supplies and whatnot. And so we flew on an old DC-3 back there. That's a story for another night. Got back to Oaxaca, and I had the best 3 days in Oaxaca by myself while Truett and Sally stayed in bed eating water and bread and whatnot. Got them back on a flight, got them back to Illinois, and Dr. England, you can teach an old doctor new tricks. He had learned that if kids from the college come in after spring break and they're having digestive problems, you should ask them where they went. And he figured out that indeed they had gone to Mexico with one question. Did you go to Mexico? Yes. What did you eat? Fish. Aha. And he was able to treat them, and they were fine. And I remember them being in one of them actually, I think it was Truett, ended up in the hospital. We were there, and he's giving me a grief, and he's like, why didn't you stop me from eating this fish? And I said, I tried, but your appetite, lust, I don't know what you want to call it, had you reeled in. And you just can't stop somebody when they want that fish. So let me tell you guys, if you're in a restaurant and you hear the fish at the next table talking to you, you got options. Your first option is to have yourself evaluated, because dead fish do not talk. The second option is sort of do the Nancy Reagan thing. Just say no. You do not want to eat a talking fish. And the third option, have the filet.